Okay, look, I'm a firm believer in primary sources. I love primary sources. As a history guy, that's my thing, looking at original documents, getting it from the horse's mouth. So let's go to the horse's mouth on this mass deportation thing with undocumented, illegal, family separation, deportations. Tom Homan did a 60-minute interview, and I'm going to take pieces of that 60-minute interview. Now, for full disclosure, I told you that Obama was considered the deporter-in-chief. He worked for the Obama administration where they deported over 3.5 to 4 million undocumented criminal illegal workers. He also worked in Trump's first administration, and he's going to be there full term for the second. Let's get to it. He had a speaking spot at the RNC convention, and this is what he said.
I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country. You better start packing now.
And the only reason why he said that is because Donald Trump has said it himself.
We begin the largest deportation operation in the history of our country because we have no choice.
Now, when it came to this interview, he tried to clean it up.
What would the largest deportation in American history look like to you?
Well, let me tell you what's not going to be first. It's not going to be a mass sweep of neighborhoods. It's not going to be building concentration camps. I've read it all. It's ridiculous.
So you heard what he said. Now listen to Stephen Miller's concept of a plan. Remember that?
So you grab illegal immigrants and then you move them to the staging grounds.
Staging ground, you know, like where a lot of people are concentrated into a camp.
And that's what the planes are waiting for federal law enforcement to then move those illegals home. You deputize the National Guard to carry out immigration enforcement.
Now, how are they going to round these people up? Are they going to be like raids?
Stephen Miller said that this will involve large-scale raids.
I don't use the term raids, but you're probably talking about worksite enforcement operations, which this administration pretty much stopped.
Workplace enforcement, that's a roundup.
And that's going to be necessary.
So real quick, you're going to get people that's going to call in and say, hey, I see a lot of Latinos and Mexicans and whatever working at this construction site. They're going to go in, they're going to do a mass raid. They're going to do background checks on all these people. They're gone. And most of these people are not criminals. They just got a little job and trying to make some money. I get it. And I get it on the American side that says, hey, you can get Americans to work those jobs. But Americans just don't want to work those jobs. They want health and medical benefits, dental benefits. So you got this dichotomy there. Once they start deporting construction workers and farm workers and hotel and hospitality workers, how much of a hit is this going to be to our GDP?
Mass deportation could result in the removal of millions of construction, hospitality, and agriculture workers, reducing the GDP by $1.7 trillion.
Trump's answer to that? Tariffs. Let's tax China. He don't know how tariffs work. Now let's get to families. Remember when I said your grandmother or great-grandmother may have come here illegally and you may have come here under the 14th Amendment? Let's go into that.
Can you just limit it to criminals and national security threat, though?
If I'm in charge of this, my priorities are public safety threats and national security threats first.
First implies others follow, though, right?
Absolutely.
Now listen to this scenario. Pay attention. There's going to be a test after this.
So you are carrying out a targeted enforcement operation. Grandma's in the house. She's undocumented. She get arrested too?
It depends.
Which?
Let the judge decide. We're going to remove people that judges already deported.
If you haven't paid attention to the news, Donald Trump got mad that Joe Biden is still nominating judges for the federal bench, and he told the Republicans to get their ass back into the Senate to try to block it. You can't block it because the Democrats got control of the Senate until January 20th. That's when he put his judges in and they enforce his law. This is why voting is so important, not just at the Washington federal level, but at the local, state level as well. Your county commissioners, all the way up to your governor. Voting is very important, and this is why. But let's keep going. And here is that fruit of the poisonous tree defense that I was telling you guys about. I think I did this before, but let's do it again.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Now, this young lady has been in America for the last 20 or 30 years. She's a DACA child. Her parents came here illegally, and she came here as a young adult. Now, listen to what she says about her brothers and sisters.
I'm the only one right now that's protected while my parents are not. My brothers are not. My brothers have children that are born here. So if they were to get deported, what will happen to their kids?
Now, I'm not going to slice this one up. Here's his answer to that. Now, mind you, she got brothers who are illegal here, but they have children who got Social Security cards here.
I don't know of any formal policy, but they're talking about family separation.
Should it be on the table?
It needs to be considered, absolutely.
They're going after children with Social Security cards. I ain't got to say shit else. I can just drop the fucking mic, right? Okay, I got one more piece of proof for you, and I promise you I'm going to leave you alone. Listen to what he says about this whole scenario.
Why should a child who is an American citizen have to pack up and move to a country that they don't know?
Because their parent obviously entered the country illegally, had a child knowing he was in the country illegally, so he created that crisis.
Don't blame America. Your family did this. This is what I tried to tell you. They're not just going to go after, now mind you, in the beginning, it's going to be the criminals. I get that. It's going to be all that. But after that's done, and within a year, year and a half, 2 years, then they're going to go after DACA children. They're going to go after grandma and great-grandma and great-great-grandma. If anybody came here illegally, everybody below that is what? Fruit of the poisonous tree. And so you too get to go home. It's not me saying it. It's them. What do you think?